This is Heath Dweft, and I listen to Raconteurs News.
My name is Stephen Hawking, and I used to listen to Raconteurs News.
April.
Go.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to Raconteurs News Preview. We are so professional here. It's been absolutely fantastic. We're getting we don't only get to start once, we get to start twice. But hello, welcome along. It's the 15th of April 2018, and there's a fucking shitload of shit going on in the world. But before we sort of get into that, I really wanted to first of all just mark this day as it's the what is it, the 29th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster. It's the 29th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster, a disaster and a tragedy that's close to my heart, and I've done many interviews and many things, many different research on it, and but today I think it's all about the people that lost their lives. They went to a fucking football match, for God's sake. 96 of them. I think there were 95 initially. Then wasn't there a guy called Bland who was in a vegetative state for a number of years, and he became the 96th victim. And I do believe there was also a guy who was, I think it was Tony Bland. So
Tony Bland, yeah, that's right.
I want to give him his full, full dignity. And also there was talk of somebody else who committed suicide as well.
Stuart Whittle
committed suicide as well. And this is all down to the actions of South Yorkshire Police. But on this day, we just want to remember those people. You went to a football match; they never deserved anything like that. And I'm so pleased that there seems to be some semblance of justice, and at least the truth is coming out as well. So anyway, we're going to be reviewing what's coming up this week. I'd like to welcome my co-presenters today. We've got Andy Young. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing good, mate. I just...
He always does it to me. He always does it to me.
And I'd just like to say... on another sad note, I noticed that Art Bell's passed this weekend, and I know Art's been putting out great information on Coast to Coast and the earlier stations for a couple of decades now, and he'll be sadly missed. He was a great personality of radio. Very sad that he never got his head around the fact that 9/11 wasn't what we're told it was. But hey, I guess he'll know the truth now if that's the case. Yeah, we'll miss you, Art.
God bless him. Yeah, I know that there's a certain type of radio presenter, and I don't class myself in any way a radio presenter. I'm just a bloke who talks down a mic because I'm a dickhead, and I'm an opinionated dickhead. But as you know, there is a certain class of presenter that sort of lean into that, don't they? Art Bell was the same. He were on Coast to Coast AM. I didn't listen to him very much, but I do know that, like the likes of Howard Hughes held him in such high esteem, and Howard Hughes is another one. He won't go that extra little bit of distance, but he's going to be sadly missed, probably, well, obviously by many people. Paul Webster, how you doing, mate? All right.
Oh yeah, I'm good, mate. Very good. Looking forward to a week off work from tomorrow. So yeah, all's good at this end.
Awesome. Well, we've got what's been going on. I mean, we seem to have been not led into a world war, but it just seems bizarre, doesn't it? All these bizarre things happen on a Friday, and on Friday night we got the news that Britain, France, and America had been bombing Syrian targets in Syria. Alleged chemical weapons. What do we make of all this? Because it that to me seems like a little bit of an escalation, but in a controlled escalation, if you know what I mean, on behalf of Trump.
Yeah, it's very surreal at the minute, because it seems like everybody's hand is being shown at the minute. There's people thinking that, you know, Trump and Putin are working together, and they've actually said, well, they're the targets that we want, so we'll get everybody out of the way, and you can do them to make it look like something's happening. Other people are defending Trump. as we were just talking off air, then Alex Jones is now completely calling Trump out. He's a fuck Trump and fuck this and fuck that. And then you've, as we were talking again, even other people who've got YouTube channels, they've gone from being Trump supporters and all of a sudden they're burning Trump T-shirts and things like that. So there's a lot of strange things happening at the minute. It seems like there's a tsunami of truth that's spilling out and lapping all over everywhere, and everybody's looking about and everybody's going, shit, what the fuck's going on? This doesn't look right. Yet in the background, the mainstream is just churning the same old shit out. It's as if they're not even bothering trying anymore.
Well, it's got me curious, Paul, because if we've got this tsunami of bullshit stories basically coming out, what the fuck are they trying to hide? And I just wonder if one of the things they're trying to distract us from is something we touched on last week with Mark Steele. I wonder if the 5G rollout is what needs distracting from, because it seems like Mark and a few good people with scientific knowledge are getting some traction. They're getting coverage in mainstream and like, oh, hang on, we need to distract people from this.
I think the beauty of that, Andy, is that they're almost being forced into covering it. And the beauty of it is that if it's true, they can't debunk it. And when they try to, it makes them look absolutely stupid and ridiculous. You know, I've just heard Boris Johnson trying to justify his remark about being categorically told about the Novichok, and it came from Russia. Now they're backtracking on that. This looks absolutely... I can't even say ridiculous, because, you know, there's ridiculous and then there's what's going on right now. And I'm like you, Andy, what the fuck is going on? Or what are they planning for? What is going to happen while we're looking over there? That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't tend to watch mainstream media, but I have noticed there's several videos being shared of they get talking heads who should actually have some sort of knowledge about this alleged chemical weapons attack in Syria, and they're saying, well, Assad didn't do it, and they're actually getting cut off by the newsreaders.
Exactly, that was amazing. That he was one of the general of the forces that said that in Iraq. And if he's saying that, and then you can clearly hear her say, well, I know you've been waiting a while to come on, sir, but we're going to have to cut it off there. We're going to have to finish. What? What's going on? Oh, you've got a script, mate. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Well, that's pretty much because Sky News, BBC News, all that sort of crap, they're just cunts. They're just cunts. Anybody who believes that, all they do, it's like, boom, here's how thick we think you are today. Boom, Assad has gassed his own fucking people while he's on the verge of winning the war against fucking the terrorists and ISIS and the insurgents. Boom. Then he raped a fucking dead vicar's wife fucking 3 times up the arse. That's exactly what they're doing. This is what they do, and people fucking buy it.
It looks absolutely ridiculous, though, doesn't it? None of it is standing up. Absolutely none of it. It doesn't seem to. It seems like they are completely in their own world. It's as though like reality is starting to split. You know how they talk about the veil lifting? It's like reality's starting to split, and they're getting further and further away. And I'm going, how fucking stupid do they look? And these are the people that people are voting for. I mean, all right, we can say Theresa May nobody's voted for. But if she calls this election, I know people who genuinely believe that Jeremy Corbyn is this man who is going to change everything through that system. And it's never been done before. So I can understand also about people saying, well, let's buy a bit of time. Let's see how that happens. We've got to do something. We can't go from that to that. So I think it's interesting. There's a lot of people with a lot of opinions that have been changed overnight. I'm talking to a lot of people who are, for want of a better way of putting it, completely asleep. You know, EastEnders, football, everything like that. And they're coming up to me going, what the fuck's going on, Webby? I've had a look at this, and then I remember you going on about something about this, because, you know, these people can't unhear what I've said to them. And because I work in close quarters with a lot of them, they haven't got much choice.
And also, what they might not take it in, but what will happen is the subconscious will take it in. And then when they hear something on the news, and it might trigger that subconscious memory, and then they think, fucking hell, maybe we're talking about this, maybe we're saying this, maybe we're doing that. And that's what we need to do. And you know what? I think we're doing it.
It is, because it's all you can do, Jason. You can't make... I had a conversation. It was a bit spiritual and religious, the conversation. But this girl was asking this fella who's like believes in the Bible and all this, but he couldn't articulate why he believed it. And she says, I'm very open-minded. I just want to know, how are you so stern in it? How do you believe it so much? And he was talking about, well, prophets told me. And she's saying, well, it's... if somebody's told you or you've read it, you still don't know. You've only got information, haven't you? And I said, you're exactly right, because this stuff, all you can do is look at the information, and if it still keeps you where you're at, or you can justify it somehow, then that's where you need to be. I couldn't convince her that I've had experiences that make me know there's something after this fucking shithole. I know there's something, but I can't prove it, and I can't tell anybody, and I can't convince anyone. Go and have a look. I've had experiences that have made me like I am. People can say, well, that's just your belief system, just like anybody else's. Well, you know, it's your reality, and only you can change your reality. But since I started to change my reality changed.
You know, this... Well, you've got... I've not seen Alex Jones. I've not watched any Alex Jones or anything. The only thing I've really seen is Dan Bostock's, where he's burnt his... He was a staunch Trump supporter, and now he's burnt his Trump T-shirt on a video. That's the only thing I've seen, but I have read that there are people sort of saying... sort of going mad and about it, and I've not seen the Alex Jones thing. So, do you think? I just want to put this question to you. Do you think that this whole, not far right, but what did they call it? Conservative right or whatever. This whole thing that came up through Trump, through InfoWars, which people got invested in. Do you think that were always set up to fail? And so that people would then become disillusioned with the alt-right, it's called, isn't it? They've called it now. They'll call it the alt-right. So the alt-right movement came up, and Trump rode on that wave, and then it was set up so that once Trump was in, then it was to be deflated.
Possibly, yeah, because I think that. I mean, people have been going on about Alex Jones being a gatekeeper for a long time. I mean, I have to say, when I started to look into this stuff seriously, Alex Jones was pushing a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff I learned since that Alex Jones would never, ever touch. Now, yeah, he's protecting his business, this, that, and the other. It's very convenient that Trump, the president of the USA, rings up some dickhead on a radio station who's meant to be looking at aliens and all this kind of stuff. Because that's what they call him, but President Trump is actually calling him mobile to mobile. So these people, this establishment, or these structures in the establishment, shall we say, because I think there's a big power grab going on right now for who's going to eventually have this new world order, or whatever it is they want to call it these days. But they're going to have to, it's like there's going to have to be all this shit that comes out, then there's... Somebody's going to appear and allegedly give us peace. Was it Trump? Is it Trump? Is there an agenda going on with Putin and that? It's all like a murder mystery thing. You expect Columbo in a minute to just turn around and go, just one more thing. It's definitely something worth watching. This is better than anything you could ever put on television or the pictures these days.
Can I play Columbo then? Because I've got a just one more thing.
Hang on, you've got to do his voice though.
Oh, I can't do that shit. But what I can do is I'd like to try and link this back to JFK. Now, I've recently been watching a series with Daniel List, the dark journalist. And for anyone who hasn't come across Daniel's work, I would thoroughly recommend it. And it's all about the X-steganography. Now, steganography is not a word I've heard before, but it's about messages that are left in plain sight. But if you are in part of the deep state, maybe even in the mystery schools, you know what these messages mean, whereas you, Jason, Paul, me, and anybody else who's listening to this show won't have a clue. They'll just see the letter X and think nothing of it. Now, Daniels recently had a guy who was involved at the time of Watergate, and he was quite a deep state player, and apparently he had 3 secret meetings with Nixon underneath the White House. Apparently Nixon was a big one for doing things in threes. I've heard somebody else report they had 3 secret meetings with Nixon. Nixon apparently, I believe it was 1989, sent a letter to Trump, "Dear Donald." And he basically tells him that if you were ever to run for high office, my wife predicts, not suspects or believes, predicts that you will win. And this Robert Merritt character is in his deathbed interview, he's now saying that Nixon's purpose of this secret meeting was to get him to get word to Henry Kissinger about a time capsule that's hidden within plain sight within the White House. Now, Nixon was planning on UFO disclosure, and with it, he'd got some information that he got from a off-world being that was, how did he put it, under our protection. Not in prison, under our protection. And they got this information off him that was going to provide energy independence. And then suddenly you see that Nixon is basically destroyed by the deep state. Much as, in my opinion, much as Kennedy was destroyed by the deep state. And this series of Daniel seems to indicate that a large part of the reason, if not the main part, for Kennedy being taken out was that he was making big moves to regain control of the UFO file after the CIA had took over it. And he was also saying he wanted to share this with Russia. Now, the E. Howard Hunt, who was also involved around Kennedy and the Kennedy assassination, did, just before he died, he told one of the Watergate lawyers, Douglas Caddy, Kennedy was killed because he wanted to give away our greatest secret to the Russia, and that greatest secret is the UFO file. So when you look at Trump's history is fascinating. You can even find a guy, I can't remember, Bell something or other. There's some guy who was an artist back at the turn of the 20th century, was doing these pictures of the airships that were being seen around at that time, and one of them has got the name Trump on it. But then when you look, when Nikola Tesla died in the New Yorker Hotel in 1946, I believe, it was John G. Trump, Donald's uncle, that was called in to examine his papers. Now, here's an interesting part that I found out only in recent weeks about John G. Trump. He was the protege of Vannevar Bush, the only man who's been absolutely verifiably documented as the leader of MJ-12. You know, you can say what you like about the MJ-12 documents, but it has been verified in various places, including Wilbert Smith from Canada, that that Vannevar Bush was the man in charge. So for me, I'm seeing a different agenda to what we're all seeing, and I'm just wondering what your guys' thoughts are on that.
Do you want to go first, Jason?
No, you go first.
Well, it's strange you brought that up, because I watched a film last night called All the Money in the World, based on John Paul Getty. Have you seen it, either of you?
No.
Well, I'd tell you to have a look at it. The way you've just been talking about Donald Trump's, family and all the associations, it's like people are bred into this. And this film talks about it. It's in our blood. He's not bothered with his son, who's a drug addict, right? But his grandson gets kidnapped. They want $17 million, and he won't give them fuck all. He says, I don't give him fuck all. And he ends up wanting to negotiate with them in the end. And he meets his his daughter-in-law, who's now divorced, he won't even give her audience to talk to her. It's really interesting when he says, "But I love you, I love my grandson. You've never seen him, you've never been in his life. Yeah, but I love him. He's my blood." He says, "I've just been on a mission to do my work." And it's a real eye-opener with what you were talking about. They've got to put it in plain sight. Well, what do you think Hollywood are doing all these years? Putting it. I mean, you can see Google Glasses in 1995 films. You know, are these just brilliantly superb imaginary people coming up with all this stuff? That's what we're meant to believe. But it's obvious that there is some kind of an agenda. You've got people talking about the 3 world wars, what they were for, describing exactly how they're going to socially engineer Europe 150, 200 years before it actually happens. So these are writing this story. We're catching up. That's all we're doing. I mean, when you read their own paperwork, you don't have to guess a lot of stuff. Does that mean I know everything? I learned something new today. It's brilliant. But it's about how deep are you going to invest your consciousness into your life? Are you just going to watch Superbikes all day, Andy, or are you going to have a think as well in between? Do you know what I mean? It comes down to that. Are you going to have a think about things in between? Because I want this world to be a better place for my fucking daughter when I go. And if I change my world, no matter how small, part of my daughter's life will improve. When I was going through my shit and I was on my face, my daughter's life wasn't great. Do you know what I mean? She felt all that. And now that I've come through it and I'm happy, the happiest I've ever been for a fucking long time. And that's it. I actually don't even have to think about it, whether I'm happy now. But from all that shit comes that. And I go through everything I've gone through to get to where I am. And you can see, as you're saying, these people are coming forward at the right times, bringing pieces of the puzzle.
And a little interesting aside as well with Trump. His grandfather came from Germany penniless, and he became probably one of the richest men in America. Strangely enough, that also happened with John Jacob Astor.
Now, John Paul Getty's son was broke. Well, he went to his dad for a job.
Astor was killed on the Titanic. Now, I know the story that there was J.P. Morgan invited a lot of people on the Titanic. It was put down so that the opponents to the Federal Reserve would be gone, and sure enough, later that year that came in. So I think Trump might be just something we're really not expecting. I can see he's obviously getting very bad advice, because I mean, bombing the shit out of Syria, you know, that was just a ridiculous move.
I keep using that word, don't I? Ridiculous. I'm running out of adjectives to describe these people. It is ridiculous. But when you were saying about I think the change, what you were talking about, Andy, with JFK, I think that is when they went for the power grab. I think they said, right, we need to now ramping it up. And I think it's coming down to if you want to take it down to the basic terms of good versus evil, it's the ones who actually want to do the fucking harm that are fighting and bombing countries like Syria, who, am I saying that the saints? No, but they are being fucking attacked. You know, if I go to my next door neighbours and start wanting their house, and I start just, you know, putting the window through every now and then, try and get them out, am I terrorising them? Am I attacking them? Yes. And I think this is just that power grab to seal whatever this grid is, what they believe it is. So it can either be good or bad. But it's which side do you want to fall on? Do you want to just leave it to chance like we are doing, leaving it to other people? Or do you want to change? You know, people always say, don't they, Andy, Jason, about, well, what can I do? I'm just one man. Well, change your fucking world. Do something, change your world. Turn your telly off for a bit. See how it goes.
Have a look at where your shopping is sourced, and avoid Israeli goods. Boycott Israeli goods. Israel that is the way to peace in the Middle East, is to get rid of Israel. So they're bombing the wrong fucking people. Israel can carpet bomb Palestine, the biggest open fucking prison in the world, And they can carpet bomb it and nobody fucking bats an eyelid. There's all these UN resolutions, but Israel just fucking ignores them and says, fucking UN.
Nothing happens.
We run the world. And they fucking do. And you look at how many fucking dual nationality Israelis there are in the fucking cabinet in America. Yeah. Look at the Labour Friends of Israel. Look at the Conservative Friends of Israel. Where's the fucking You would think that the natural thing would be the Conservative Friends of Israel, the Labour Friends of Palestine. That would be a fucking... But it's not. It's not, because the Labour Party's been fucking took over. And what Jeremy Corbyn's been trying to do is trying to retake the Labour Party back. Right, and I don't know whether he's going to be fucking doing good or doing fucking bad if and when he gets into power. But what he's been trying to do is been trying to get Labour back to the point of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be about working people. It's not supposed to be about fucking big oil. It's not supposed to be about Tony Blair. Fucking Tony Blair. Fuck me. For fuck's sake.
I think it always has been.
That's not Labour at all. It's just a pile of shit. It's coming back in alters.
Yeah, I think the Labour thing, though, when Labour was brought into it, I think it was designed to do exactly what it's doing. It's just, it drew all the workers in, it drew everything into them first. And then when they get into these places of power, that's when, boom, right, change the agenda, we're gonna push the same agenda. When people get fucking sick of that, they'll go, well, which one's best, what should we do here? Well, we'll give them this back, but we can take that if we give them that. It's all been smoke and mirrors, and as I always said about Thatcher, her greatest achievement, she claimed, was New Labour. So, again, 1990, who took over America? George Bush, Daddy George Bush. He becomes then, fucking Tony Blair's being ushered in and set up, the agenda gets pushed with the Iraq War, George Bush's son pushes the Iraq War. It's on steroids over the last 20 years, Jason. I mean, me and you have discussed that, haven't we, where... I can go back to 1990, let's call it 30 years basically. I can go back to that time, and it was a different time. There was nobody, few and far between. Maybe people say it's because of an information thing. We can share information a lot easier now, which has got to be one aspect to it. But genuinely, I wouldn't have not only had access to this information, but I wouldn't have sought it. Things have to happen to you to make you change your path. If you're,
I don't agree with that, Paul. I don't agree with that. Shall I tell you what? I really don't agree with that, because there were people protesting against the war, against bombing Syria on Friday. On Friday there was a big protest. Things went on down there. There were people in that crowd who nothing's happened to. Right? They just feel, and this is where things like the Sheffield Trees thing helps their cause, right? Yeah. Because you've got the Sheffield Trees, the Sheffield Trees Action Group, which is the Stag one, and then you've got the other ones that are talking about the 5G. Well, in the Stag group, we don't talk about the 5G. Right, so they've separated. So you've got two different factions, right, that are fighting for the same cause. They don't want the trees cut down. No matter what the reasons are, but they just don't want the trees cut down. So, but they're separated, they're divided, because there's people. But this is what happens is you'll get the Sheffield Tree Action Group will be middle class people who don't want the trees knocked down from their avenue that they live in Sheffield, in a decent area of Sheffield, and then you'll get people that are fighting for the trees because they realise that it's the 5G that's doing it. But they're separated by this, because then that becomes an agenda. You understand what I mean? And it works with everything. It works with absolutely everything. You can have people on the same side, and you can
divide and conquer.
That's the way people are. So I don't agree that something has to happen. I think that people need to have more information, but have more information in a less, perhaps, challenging way. You know what I mean? In a less confrontive way. So you're not confronting people and saying, no, they're chopping these trees down because it's 5G, and they go, oh, no, it's not. We just want these trees to stay up, and it's nothing to do with 5G. The government wouldn't do anything like that. In fact, I even saw one post on the Sheffield Tree Action Group, and it said, what we should all do is for 1 month, we should withhold our council tax payment. And I'm thinking, 1 month withholding your council tax payment? Are you fucking mad? Because what's going to happen is a bailiff's going to turn up, because you're so embedded in the system, and you think that the system can't possibly be as bad. A bailiff's going to turn up. You're going to pay 4 times what you should have paid, if you'd have paid your direct debit. If you're going to stop paying your council tax, stop paying your fucking council tax. Stop it completely. Otherwise, what you're doing is, right, these people are cutting all these fucking trees down against your fucking will on your street. They're just chopping them down fucking willy-nilly, and what you're doing is you're paying them to do it. But, if we withhold 1 month, do you know how much fucking Sheffield Council are paying Amy, the company that puts it down? The contract is £1.25 million per week for the next 25 years. Do you think that not paying one council tax fucking payment, because all that's going to do, right, because they know you're there, because you've paid it all them years, and then you're going to pay it the fucking following month. So all they're going to do is they're going to send a fucking bailiff round, and you're going to pay 4 times more. And that'll be 4 times more fucking trees cut down at your behest. So if you're going to stop paying something, stop fucking paying it. Don't just go, oh, I'm going to withhold it for 1 month as a protest. Yeah, because that's going to fucking work against these psychopathic fucking... Anyway, wankers.
Well, I'd say your point, definitely, Jason. You're spot on. Where I'm coming from is where I tell people that the trees aren't affecting people here, so they're not asked. Where the people live, where the trees are being cut, it's affecting them personally. Whereas the 5G stuff aren't necessarily living in that avenue. They're just protesting the trees being cut down because of the 5G. The good thing is that the 5G and the tree huggers, for want of a better place of putting it, is they're having to cross and have that conversation. And if it just sparks one to start looking into it, it starts to move. But physically, what you're saying, where I'll protest and not pay my council tax. Well, fuck that. You're right. Stop paying it, but find out why you're not liable to pay it. Find out why you've been lied to. Find out the theft that's going on. But until some bailiff comes and knocks on a cunt's door, a lot of people still will not bother with that. They've not got the fight, Jason. I see the fear in people's eyes. I had a conversation only 2 hours ago with a woman who kept saying to me, and she knows everything I've told her about utilities, that you can't pay them. It's debt, and you're trying to pay it with more debt. You've got debt. Yeah, I understand that. But you've got to pay your bills. They'll cut you off. That's all you've got, and that's the fear. Until somebody comes and does it, and they'd stop rolling over, and believe me, I understand the fear. I've stood shaking like shitting dog. But until you do that, well, I'll keep saying it until people fucking realise.
I know you're completely brilliant, absolutely superb. We know you do that. You've done that. You've gone through it, and you're still here.
But I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have looked for it, Jason. That's my point. I couldn't have. I've always been under the radar like everybody else.
Well, listen, that's the main thing. Look, what I want to do is this is supposed to be a preview of what's going on this week.
We're best in the week as well, aren't we? Andy's got about this say.
We've got Pippa King who's watching on Facebook Live, and we've got a slot available Tuesday. So Pippa, get in touch with us if you fancy coming on Tuesday night. We always like to speak to you regarding this sort of issue, and it is nuts. But Andy, tell us what we got going on Monday.
Right, Monday we've got Paul Cotty coming on for a chat with us. Paul's over in Ireland. He's been doing some great work, basically trying to get himself as far away from the big state as possible. We mentioned when Paul was saying about his appearance in court when he questioned the jurisdiction, He got armed police. Well, Cotty got taken down to the cells and got a good beating for his trouble. But he's also got some brilliant videos out there of him going to pay, I don't know, it's speeding tickets, parking notices or whatever. And he goes up to the counter, he says, I've come to pay this. And yeah, okay, it's so-and-so. And he went, well, before I pay, I need to see your operating licence. And it turns into a really funny conversation. He's also done quite a spell as a radio presenter. I think he started with his own show when we were over there on People's Internet Radio, but I understand Paul's packed all that in now, so it'll be nice to get him back on the air and have a good old chinwag with him.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it looks like we've got a guest secured for Tuesday as well. Pippa King, she says, hey, sure. I'm hoping that's to the invitation that I extended over Facebook Live, that she'll come on. So hopefully on Tuesday we'll have Pippa King as well. Webby, what's your plans for this week?
I'm gonna finish writing my book this week. I had a week off in March where the publisher had said to me, how long do you think you could do it? And I reckoned if I sat and did it for a week, I could get through it. But I didn't save quite a chunk of it, and I've only just managed, because of work, in bits and bats to catch up. So my plan is to do fuck all most of the week, but I will be doing that most of it, if you know what I mean. Apart from writing the book, I'm doing nothing. That's the beauty of having no responsibility.
Yeah, well, writing a book, I mean, I've got one completed, but I'm not really happy with going anywhere at the moment. But I've got one completed. But yeah, writing a book, it is a difficult discipline and something that that takes a lot of shit. So anyway, big thanks to everyone who's been listening. Looks like this week then we've got Paul Cotty on Monday. I think we're gonna wrap this up because Rangers and Celtic's going to be on very soon. So come on, you fucking Celtic, you boys. So Rangers and Celtic's going to be on, but don't forget to join us for Raconteurs News on Monday. That's tomorrow night from 7. And on Tuesday from 7 as well. Tomorrow night we're going to have Paul Cotty on. He's Andy just told you who he is. So if you weren't paying attention, that's your own fault. And on Tuesday, it looks like we're going to have Pippa King on as well. So yeah, that'll be absolutely superb. I know Ady's going to be really pissed off that he's missed Pippa. I know he's a big Pippa fan, but he's already got his hands full at the moment.
I'm just going to say, I think Eddie's got his hands full.
Yeah, I did have a phone call off him yesterday. I did have a WhatsApp message off him. A WhatsApp call on video from him yesterday, and so I saw where he's stopping at the moment, and he seems to be having an awesome time. So big up to you, Ady. We hope that everything's just stay safe, man. For God's sake.
I hope he's been in love long time.
We've got on Skype. We've got a host, a Raconteurs News host chat room, and I posted a picture that Ady sent me this morning from there. So yes, let's face it, none of us are really envious, are we? No, but big thanks to Ady for keeping us informed of his situation, and hope to hear everybody. Hope to see everybody in the chat room or on Facebook Live. Will be live tomorrow night from 7 o'clock. From me, from Andy, and from Paul, and from Ady, from God knows wherever he is. He's probably got his head somewhere stuck in somewhere, but it's a big good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Ta-ra a bit.
I'm gonna have some fun with this one here. Woo-hoo! In the morning, when I wake up, all I want is Joanna. In the evening, when I'm thinking, all I want every minute, every hour of every day. But life is like a smoke, in the end I'm gonna choke. So all I do is live my life from day to day.
Oh my God, you know you better watch yourself, because I know you're waiting on that one. Cause I'm telling you, calls and none. Cause you know the one I say, take off away, and you let me see you do that run. Run, the one that they clean, and the one that done. Cause I know you cannot be me now, what you wanna do. Cause I'm about to break it down, me, cause that's all that. Cause you know you cannot fade me now, let you wanna. You better back it down now, because I'm telling you, what bar, bun bar, can I wonder. Because you know you like the way I put that pick up. Cause I'm telling all you fools what I put up. And in a mercy, now what you wanna do, and in a mercy. Now what you wanna do, and in a mercy. Now what you wanna do, and in a mercy.
If you look in my eyes, you will see what I've done. Every minute, every hour of every day. But life is like a smoke, in the end I'm gonna choke. So all I do is live my life from day to day. You got to lick it, stick it, bend it, crease it, stack it, burn it, pack it, roll it, poke it, roach it, smoke it, then you pass it to me. You got to lick it, stick it, bend it, crease it, stack it, burn it, pack it, roll it, poke it, roach it, smoke it, then you pass it to me.
Come on, baby girl, let's get it going on. I'ma hit the highway and do it my way. It ain't no game, girl, so I don't play games. I keep it up straight, right up in your face. So make your mind up, cause life is too short. I got the vest on, boy, put your belt on. Stop acting all cool like Kanye West, boy. You be riding through the wire and the camera get on fire. You don't want that, no, I don't want that, no. This goes out to pimps and chicks, so slow. Hit the backseat when you're doing the licking, kissing, squeezing. Do the damn thing, man.
You got to lick it, stick it, bend it, press it, stack it, burn it, pack it, roll it, poke it, roach it, smoke it, then you pass it to me. You got to lick it, stick it, bend it, press it, stack it, burn it, pack it, roll it, poke it, roach it, smoke it, then you pass it to me. You got to lick it, stick it, bend it, press it, stack it, burn it. All I want is roach and smoke, marriage, you pass it to me. In the evening, stick it, bend it, crease it, stack it, burn it, pack it, roll it, poke it, roach it, smoke it, marriage, you pass it to me.